After spending a few days at Nguni Lodge, it was time to move to my next little home in Mtunzini. This time, I was staying at Nguni Cottage, and what a lovely place it was. The cottage had its own private garden, and the Ladybird had a perfect little parking spot right beside me. There were 2 bedrooms, each with its own ensuite bathroom, as well as a comfortable lounge and a kitchen. And from the stoop, I had a beautiful view of the garden. Of course, one of the first things I noted was the birds. Big ones, little ones, that spent their time flying from one tree to another. It was such a beautiful way to start the day. And after breakfast, it was time to go exploring. We headed into the forest, starting our walk at Twinstreams Indigenous Nursery. There is a beautiful clearing there underneath a magnificent tree, which can be used as a wedding venue. From there, the trail took us deeper into the forest. There were wooden bridges to cross, one after another, as the trail wound its way through the trees. And then I came to this one, a hanging bridge. And just as I reached the other side, I found this wonderful little message waiting for me. Well, I couldn't argue with that. And then, just a little further along, I discovered the only rhino in Mtunzini. But the closer I got, the more obvious it became that this particular rhino wasn't going anywhere. We continued through the forest and came across the Goodersons Forest Lodge. There was a lovely open area with a playground and 2 swimming pools, complete with the big and smaller slides. The lodges themselves are tucked away among the trees, almost hidden in the forest. I climbed the stairs to have a look at the view. From there, we continued along the Twinstreams Trail. Another bridge took us across one of the 2 streams of the CIE River. On the one side, there was the river, and on the other, what looked almost like a river of reeds. The trail continued across another bridge, taking us closer and closer to the beach. And then came the climb, a rather steep sandy dune. But once I reached the top and looked out towards the sea, it was worth every step. The view was beautiful. The ocean in front of me, the forest behind me, and nothing but nature all around. Like these little yellow and purple flowers growing right there in the sand. On our walk back, we came across the Coconut Beach Bar and Restaurant. And after all that walking, I could certainly understand why stopping for something to eat or drink might be a very good idea. But the day wasn't over yet. That afternoon, we had an adventure planned. We were going out onto the Umlalazi River on the Uberta barge. The river was beautiful. There was something new to see around every bend. With enormous trees lining the banks and the water winding quietly through the forest. And then I got a lucky wildlife moment. A kingfisher was sitting on a dead branch above the river. I managed to capture the moment it took off and flew straight down towards the water. And then a fishing boat came past us. As we continued towards the mouth of the river, we passed through areas of mangrove and eventually reached the place where the Umlalazi River meets the sea. It was low tide and we couldn't go any further. But that didn't stop the 2 brave men on board from deciding that it was the perfect opportunity for a swim. I was quite happy to remain safely on the barge and watch them. On the way back, I spotted 2 more birds on the river bank. The first one flew across to the opposite bank, and then the second one followed. I slowed the footage down so that you can actually see the flight. I'm still not very good at identifying these birds, but I'm certainly getting better at spotting them. It has been another wonderful day in Mtunzini. From the peaceful forest to the beach and then out onto the Umlalazi river. There always seemed to be something unexpected awaiting round the next corner. And I was beginning to realize that Mtunzini wasn't just a place to visit. It was a place to slow down, explore, and let the adventure find me.